The air crackled with anticipation. The world watched, holding its breath. Former President Donald J. Trump, a man who had once commanded the world's attention from the Oval Office, was now a defendant in a courtroom, facing charges that could reshape the nation's history. The weight of the moment was palpable. This was not just a trial, it was a referendum on American democracy itself. The courtroom, usually a stage for legal battles, had transformed into a crucible of political reckoning. Every camera angle, every hushed whisper, every raised eyebrow was amplified, scrutinized, and debated by millions. The stakes could not have been higher. A guilty verdict would brand a former president with a criminal conviction, a stain that would forever tarnish his legacy. An acquittal, on the other hand, would ignite a firestorm of debate about accountability, justice, and the rule of law. The trial had polarized the nation, exposing raw divisions that ran deep. Trump's supporters, a sea of red hats and unwavering loyalty, rallied outside the courthouse, their chants of support a stark counterpoint to the somber pronouncements emanating from within. His detractors, a diverse coalition united by their belief that no one, not even a former president, was above the law, watched with bated breath, hoping for a verdict that would affirm the principles of justice and accountability. The tension was palpable, a thick fog of anticipation that hung over the courtroom. Every legal maneuver, every witness testimony, every piece of evidence presented was dissected, analyzed, and debated ad nauseum by legal experts, political pundits, and ordinary citizens alike. The nation was captivated, glued to their television screens, their smartphones, and their radios, hungry for any scrap of information, any insight into the minds of the jurors who held the fate of a former president in their hands. The world watched and waited.
Hidden from the glare of the cameras and the scrutiny of the public, 12 ordinary citizens, the jurors in the trial of Donald J. Trump, grappled with an extraordinary responsibility, tasked with rendering a verdict that would reverberate through the halls of history. They found themselves thrust into the center of a political and legal drama unlike any other. Their deliberations, shrouded in secrecy, would determine the fate of a former president and shape the course of American democracy. The deliberation room, an unassuming space with beige walls and fluorescent lighting, became a sanctuary from the storm raging outside. Here, shielded from the cacophony of opinions and the weight of expectations, the jurors embarked on a solemn duty, their voices hushed, their faces etched with the gravity of the task at hand. They were a microcosm of America itself, a diverse group of individuals with different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives, united by their shared commitment to upholding the law and delivering justice. The weight of their responsibility was immense. They pored over evidence, scrutinizing every document, every testimony, every photograph, searching for the truth that lay buried beneath layers of legal arguments and political rhetoric. Days turned into nights as they deliberated, their discussions punctuated by moments of tense silence, animated debate, and the occasional shared laugh that served as a reminder of the human drama unfolding within the confines of their windowless room. The pressure was relentless, an invisible force that pressed down on them, reminding them of the stakes involved. Their every word, every gesture, every facial expression was subject to endless speculation and analysis. They were acutely aware that their verdict would not only determine the fate of a man, but also send a powerful message about the rule of law, the limits of power, and the very essence of American democracy. The world was watching, waiting, and judging.
The prosecution had meticulously constructed its case, presenting a narrative of abuse of power, obstruction of justice, and a blatant disregard for the rule of law. Their star witnesses, a who's who of former Trump administration insiders, painted a damning portrait of a president who believed himself to be above the law. Their testimonies, often emotional and delivered with a palpable sense of duty to country, provided a glimpse behind the curtain of the Trump White House, revealing a world of chaos, loyalty tests, and a president obsessed with holding on to power at any cost. One by one, they took the stand, their words echoing through the courtroom, each testimony adding another brick to the wall of evidence being erected against the former president. There was the former Attorney General, his voice trembling with barely suppressed anger as he recounted Trump's relentless pressure to overturn the results of the election. There was the former White House counsel, her demeanor calm and collected as she detailed Trump's attempts to obstruct the investigation, into his campaign's ties to Russia. And there was the former national security advisor, his voice grave as he described Trump's efforts to solicit foreign interference in the election, but the evidence went beyond mere words. Documents, emails, text messages, and audio recordings were presented, each piece adding to the mosaic of wrongdoing. There were Trump's own words captured in real time, urging his supporters to fight like hell to overturn the election results. There were emails from Trump's advisors, expressing their concerns about the legality of his actions. And there were financial records, revealing a pattern of potential financial impropriety. The defense, for their part, mounted a vigorous counteroffensive, attacking the credibility of witnesses, downplaying the significance of evidence, and portraying Trump as a victim of a politically motivated witch hunt. They argued that the prosecution's case was built on hearsay, speculation, and the testimony of disgruntled former employees with axes to grind. They painted a picture of a president who, while unconventional and prone to hyperbole, was ultimately a patriot who had always acted in the best interests of the country.